Hello, I'm Cynthia Izaguirre in Dallas, and here are your headlines from North Texas. The trial of a former Uvalde police officer will soon be in the hands of the jury. Both sides have rested their case, and closing arguments are expected this week. Tiffany Liu walks us through the big question jurors are weighing now.
It comes down to what happened in 3 minutes.
And approximately 3 minutes later,
That's what the state and defense are arguing.
did Adrian Gonzalez ask for cover?
What was former Uvalde officer Adrian Gonzalez doing in the first 3 minutes when he responded to Robb Elementary School?
Adrian was by himself. Yes.
The mass shooting in 2022 left 19 students and 2 teachers dead.
Members of the jury, the state has rested its case.
With 35 witnesses over 9 days, prosecutors argue Gonzalez arrived but did nothing, even when a teacher pointed out a description and direction of the shooter.
I think that's what the state is going to try to get the jury to focus on.
Attorney and legal analyst Juan Sanchez has been watching the case. He says the defense is focusing on what happened after the 3 minutes.
Because eventually he did go in.
The defense insists Gonzalez assessed the situation and did what he could during the chaos and confusion of the massacre.
They're going to show how there was other law enforcement there, and they did less than he did.
With just 2 witnesses, the defense rested their case Tuesday.
And I think as a defense lawyer, you start gauging the jury, start looking to see if they're getting tired. And if your witnesses you're going to call up is just going to repeat a lot of the information they've already heard, then why alienate that jury at that point?
Come Wednesday, each side will have 90 minutes for closing arguments. Then the fate of Adrian Gonzalez will be determined by the jury in Corpus Christi.
You never know what a jury, how long it's going to take for them to reach a decision.
Gonzalez faces 29 counts of child endangerment and abandonment, 1 each for the 19 children killed and 10 for those who survived. If convicted, he could face 2 years per count, a potential of 58 years in prison.
Okay, we'll be in recess for the day. We'll see the lawyers at 8:30.
I'm Tiffany Liu.
We are still a couple of weeks away from parents being able to apply for school vouchers for the first time. But here's the thing, schools started enrolling students well over a month ago. Dia Wall just got an exclusive interview with the man in charge of the program to get you some answers.
Let me just say, Acting Comptroller, thank you for taking the time.
Sure.
Let's talk about the ESA program. How many private schools are enrolled statewide? What percentage? And how many more do you expect in the next 20 days when parents can start enrolling?
We've crossed the 1,000 threshold, so we have several more, and schools are continuing to enroll. And so we're excited about that and ready for parents and students to get involved.
There's been some recent reporting that maybe schools that could potentially have ties to the Chinese government or Islamic organizations are being blocked from the program. Is that the case? Can you just explain what's going on?
We did discover some schools that had some connections that could be potentially in conflict with directives from the governor or state law. And so rather than risk these dollars and enter into something that might be in conflict, we simply ask for Attorney General's opinion.
Are non-Christian schools being blocked from this program?
Absolutely not.
I've been looking at the schools that have enrolled. Last check, more than half, a little more than half, were pre-K schools. Are pre-K students eligible for these funds?
Yeah, they are, and obviously the pre-K schools are very excited about it. K through 12, primarily, low income and special needs. Those are the priority of the legislature when I voted on the legislation and of our office. And so that's why we appreciate you coming out so that we can make sure that those individuals are aware of the program.
Let's say in a dream world, your office awards 50% of these ESAs or vouchers to those families. What happens if the schools don't take them?
Well, it is up to the schools. Look, this is not a big government program. This is educational freedom. So we're not forcing schools to enroll. We're not forcing parents in any way to enroll or participate.
What would you want families who are interested in this program to know?
I think the key is this program's for you. This is set up to make Texas the #1 education state in the nation, to bring about competition, to force improvements across the board, public schools, private school, charter schools, and competition kind of does that. You have to improve if you want to stick around. And so this is for the families. This is literally for the children.
Parents can apply starting February 4th, and if you need to learn more about these accounts or how to apply, go to educationfreedom.texas.gov and look for Dia's full interview in a special episode of Y'all-itics on WFAA+. Well, the iconic Reunion Tower in Dallas is getting a bit of a touch-up. From now through summer, Crews will be working on the landmark to make light shows better and brighter than ever. That'll initially mean fewer light shows than normal, but Reunion Tower's GEO deck and Crown Block will remain open throughout the project. He makes a living helping people manage risk, but last month, a North Texas financial advisor took the biggest gamble of his life. What started as a crazy idea turned into a once-in-a-lifetime journey around the world. He told Sean Giggy it helped him gain a hopeful perspective.
Anytime you talk to people about money, it's
As a financial advisor in Waxahachie, 45-year-old Paul Box has made a living taking calculated risks. That changed last month when he made the craziest decision of his life.
absolutely, but crazy's not always a bad thing. Crazy can be a good thing, right? I even had people tell me that it was impossible, there's no way I actually did it.
A few years ago, Paul, a runner, learned about this race around the world.
And so you fly into Antarctica.
So the guy who didn't even start running until he was 30 signed up. From the starting line in Antarctica to the finish line in Miami, Paul became one of only a few hundred people in history to run 7 marathons on 7 continents in just 7 days. A lot of Paul's friends and family, especially those who don't run, thought he was nuts. Not for running the race, but for choosing to do it again.
Most of them just said, why? Like, you've already done it, why?
Good question.
Life can be boring if you don't go adventure some. So this is my way to adventure.
This time, his second race around the world, Paul didn't just run, he won. But he says the greater reward was the journey.
It's definitely made me much more curious and I would say culturally aware.
Paul says by stepping so far outside his comfort zone, he discovered a world full of good and good people. Paul understands that for most, running a marathon on every continent isn't possible, but says the lesson is applicable.
Get out of your front door, right? Turn the TV off and go meet people and do something to build your community, to love on those around you, to care for those around you.
And when you do, you'll find that serving others will serve you well in the long run. In Waxahachie, I'm Sean Giggy.
Man, Paul, you've got some soul. And those are your headlines from North Texas.